morning, squad. Mr. Herr here on this somewhat sketchy Tuesday morning. Today we're going to start new material. So for those of you who are tuned in watching the video, I highly recommend that you have a piece of paper, you have a pencil, and that you're following along. Because today we're going to talk about solving systems, which we've been doing, but solving systems through elimination. The elimination aspect's new. Today's notes will be a little longer, but we're going to start with easier concepts because I want to make sure that we get started on a good foot. So we'll knock out the notes. You want, like I said, you want to make sure that you're writing those down. Just another reiteration of that. And then I have a 4-question homework assignment for you. Please make sure you show your work on the assignment. That way I know that we're crushing it. All right. I hope everybody on your end enjoyed the weekend. I hope everybody's healthy, wealthy, and wise. And we're going to try and stay positive despite all the negativity in the world. All right. Without further ado, let's do this thing. Get ready for the loud spring. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Hopefully you survived it. As I've said time and time again, now would be a perfect time to grab a piece of paper, grab a pencil, pause the video to do all that. It's all good in the hood. Okay. Solving systems by elimination. The one thing before we even officially get started that we want to get used to with elimination, we want to make sure that our equations are in standard form. And if you're saying, Mr. Herr, I have no idea what standard form even is anymore, not yelling, just telling, it looks an awful lot like ax plus by equals c. To be 110% honest with you, every equation that we have in today's notes is already in standard form. Every equation on your homework already in standard form. Okay, but tomorrow when we do another video, it's not going to be quite that easy. Okay, so we're going to solve this through elimination. What we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate one of these variables through adding our equations together. Sometimes we have to multiply them ahead of time. Sometimes we don't. We can just add and go. For instance, keeping it honest with you, the first 3 examples, we're just going to add and go. If you're saying, Mr. Herr, how do you know that? Sorry about the bad line. Well, here we have negative x minus 2y equals negative 7. Negative 2x plus 2y equals negative 8. Do you see how we have a negative 2y? And we have a positive 2y, because they are opposites of one another, when we add these 2 equations together, they will cancel out. And it's one of those, it sounds scarier than it is until you see it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a big plus here below my number 1 beside the second equation, and then I'm just going to add like terms. Negative x plus negative 2x, that is negative 3x. Negative 2y plus positive 2y. Oh, those cancel. We want one of the variables, whether it be y or whether it be x, we want one of the variables to cancel every time. Oh, that did. That's lovely. And then negative 7 plus negative 8, that equals negative 15. Hey, now that we have that, now we can just divide both sides by negative 3. We get x equals 5. Awesome. Once we have x equals 5, plug it back in one of the 2 equations. Just looking up top here, it looks like the top equation might be a little easier because it's a single x. So where I see my x term, negative x, well, I'm going to substitute 5. Negative 5 minus 2y equals negative 7. Okay, so I'm just rewriting here. Negative 5 minus 2y equals negative 7. Well, I have to isolate y, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. A positive 5, mind you, to cancel out the negative. We get negative 2y equals negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 2, and y equals a positive 1. So we have our x value, we have our y value, 5, 1. Good to go. Okay. The next few are going to be very similar. We're just going to add and go because we've already set up with opposites. Here we have 3x minus 5y equals 7. Negative 3x minus y equals 5. Ooh, those x's are going to cancel, so I'm going to add these together. Okay, positive 3x plus negative 3x, they cancel. Negative 5y minus y, that is a negative 6y equals 7 plus 5, that's 12. Divide both sides by a negative 6. Our y term, be careful with which one we're solving for. Our y term then is negative 2. Plug that in whichever equation you want. Personally, I think the second equation there looks a little easier. So I'm going to rewrite this. Negative 3 minus, where I see the y, I'm going to substitute negative 2. So that's minus negative 2 equals 5. Okay, so far, so awesome. I'm going to substitute here, or excuse me, rewrite, pardon me. Negative 3x minus a negative, that's the same as plus positive 2 equals 5. Now it's a two-step equation. Subtract 2 from both sides. The reason we do that, those cancel. Negative 3x equals positive 3. Divide both sides by a negative 3. X equals negative 1. So we have our point, negative 1 comma negative 2, which is the solution to our system. Okay, we're going to keep rolling here because are they always that easy? No, but I'm trying to build you up here, Buttercup. So let's keep doing this thing. Number 3, negative x minus 6y equals negative 12. Nice. Negative 6x, those aren't opposites, plus positive 6y. Ooh, those are opposites, equals positive 12. So I can, because I already have opposites, I can add these together. Good to go, good to go, good to go. Negative x plus negative 6x, that's negative 7x. Negative 6y plus positive 6y, ooh, those cancel, that's what we like, equals negative 12 plus positive 12, ooh, they also cancel, that gives us a 0. Divide both sides by negative 7. Yes, I know it's redundant, but we're going to do it anyhow. X equals 0. Sweet. Take that and plug that back in. Okay. Personally, I'm going to use our first equation just because it's a little easier. So where I see the x, negative x, I'm going to substitute my 0. Negative 0 minus 6y equals negative 12. Hey, negative 0, it's still just 0. So we're left with negative 6y equals negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 6. Y equals positive 2. So our point, 0, 2. Notice so far all of our answers have worked out nice as whole numbers. Guaranteed, so will your homework. You have my word. We're going to keep rolling here, but number 4, 5, and 6, they're a little different. If we look here, 6x plus 2y equals negative 6. Negative 4x plus 2y equals negative 16. We don't have opposites. If you're saying, what do you mean, Mr. Herr? Look, 2y, but they're both positive. So what I have to do is I have to take this entire second equation. I want my 2y here. I need that to be negative to cancel out with the original 2y. So I have to multiply the whole thing by negative 1. Okay, so follow me. We're going to distribute to every term, even on the other side of the equal sign. Negative 1 times negative 4x, well, that's positive 4x. Negative 1 times negative 1 times positive 2y, that's minus 2y, equals negative 1 times negative 16, ooh, that's positive 16. Because it's a little jumbled here, I'm going to rewrite. We have my second equation, which I multiplied, check. I'm just going to rewrite the first equation below it. 6x plus 2y equals negative 16. I did not change that one at all. I just brought it down. Hey, look, negative 2y, positive 2y. Now we have opposites. Now we're ready to add. When we do that, we get 10x. Our y terms cancel. Negative 2y plus positive 2y, they cancel. Equals 16 plus negative 6. That is a positive 10. Divide both sides by 10. x then is 1. Okay, I don't care which one you plug it into. Our first equation there looks pretty good, so I'm going to go with 6, and it would be an x here, but where I see my x, I'm going to substitute 1. 6 times 1 plus 2y equals negative 6. Okay, well that's 6 plus 2y equals negative 6. Subtract 6 from both sides. Be careful here. Yes, those cancel, but over here we get 2y equals negative 12. Divide both sides by 2. Y equals, sorry for being off screen, negative 6. So we have the point 1 comma negative 6. We'll do one more like that because I know the video is getting a little long, and then we'll go from there. All right. Look at number 6 down here. Negative 6x negative 6x plus 4y equals 8. And then we have negative 3x plus 4y equals 14. 4y, 4y, but they're both positive. That means we're going to multiply our second equation by negative 1. Okay. The only reason we're multiplying, folks, because you're going to say, Mister, when do I multiply, when do I not multiply, is when our terms are the same sign. So I'm going to distribute that to each term. We get positive 3x minus 4y equals negative 14. Now I'm going to rewrite my first equation, which was negative 6x plus 4y equals 8. Hey, look at that, opposites. That's exactly what we were looking for. Now we can add our equations together. 3x plus negative 6x, well, that's negative 3x. Negative 4y plus 4y, those cancel. Whoop, whoop, that's what we wanted. Negative 14 plus 8, well, that's negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 3. Sure enough, x is 2. Go team. Then plug that into whichever equation you would like. Personally, I'm going to use the second equation. Just looks a little easier. There's no wrong answer, though. So negative 3, and then where I see the x, I'm going to substitute 2. Negative 3 times 2 plus 4y equals 14. Well, that's negative 6 plus 4y equals 14, and I'll slide up. Sorry for that. Add 6 to both sides. Those cancel. We get 4y equals 20. Divide both sides by 4. Sure enough, y is 5. So our point is 2 comma 5. Okay, I know that was a lot when we're learning new materials through online learning. You know, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it comes down to two big ideas, and let me just slide up here. If we already have opposite terms, like positive 3 and negative 3, x, you can just add your equations together. If we don't have opposite terms, like here we had a positive 2y and a positive 2y, because they're not opposites, we had to multiply one of our equations by negative 1. Once you do that, you just add your equations together, just like we did up here when we already had opposite terms. We just add our equations together and solve for the remaining variable. All right. Hey, there's a 4-question PDF I'd like you to upload. Please be sure to show your work. That way I can help you out as best possible. All right. Enjoy your day. Talk to you soon. Peace.